As regulations keep getting tighter and tighter, responsible gambling and compliance continue to be huge topics in the gambling industry today. Blockchain technology is perfectly positioned to assist with these issues. Welcome to this special edition of Hashing It Out, filmed at CoinGeek Zurich, where these very topics were covered, and the event featured speakers from the gambling industry space. Today's guest is John Brackens, the CTO of Esports Entertainment Group. As a longtime gambling industry professional, John is keenly aware of the complexities involved in remaining compliant. He is also aware of the unique abilities of the BSV blockchain to assist in this space. What I love about the work that you're doing, John, is that you're not a BSV diehard already in the community, but you are aware of the technology, and you talk with your team about what some of the benefits are of BSV technology. So can you just describe to us why you get excited about this tech?
Well, definitely. So, look, at the end of the day, I know how the blockchain community in general is very passionate about everything that they're doing, and it's a lot of narratives out there, but the only narrative I care about is the technology, and how can technology be used to improve what we're currently doing right now in our environment, or at least within the next couple of months, or the near-term future, right? So my team, we've been looking at blockchain for quite a number of months now, and we definitely recognize the inherent benefits of what blockchain has to offer, and in our industry as well, because our industry in online gaming occasionally has a stigma of not having the best reputation. So being able to use a system, apply those intrinsic benefits from that system to what we're doing, and elevating the trust level with our community and our customers and the regulators that we deal with, and just in general, for us, that's a win-win situation. That's the point where we want to get to. So for me, that means looking at the technical attributes and benefits of each individual chain, and then deciding which one is best for us, which one fits our needs, which one is scalable, ones that we can use now but continue on forward in the future, so we're not having to pivot 2 and 3 and 4 years down the line, which one we feel confident that's going to continue to develop and grow and advance and improve upon their existing protocols to make sure it keeps up with modern times and modern developments. And as you're kind of looking at the ecosystem, it's kind of clear which one is actually focusing on that aspect versus the ones that are more focusing on the financial benefits, let's say, of what the blockchain can offer. So.
What a PC way to say that. But I think, you're mentioning trust and all sorts of regulation and things like this, which in the gambling industry, both you and I know is a real big pain point, is making sure we keep those regulators happy, being able to share data and information with them to know that you're operating in a sustainable and friendly way. Can you provide a little more detail on how blockchain could potentially help alleviate some of those pain points with your relationship with the regulator?
Definitely. So the iGaming industry is very heavily regulated because you have to make sure there's no fraud, there's no collusion, that you're actually not taking advantage of your players in terms of the activity that you do within the site itself. So there's a mountain of processes and reports and just statistics that you always have to provide to regulatory bodies like the MGA, the UKGC, Isle of Man, whoever. They all want that information because at the end of the day, the regulator's job is to make sure that you are in adherence with their rules and they're protecting the community at large that they're responsible for, making sure that responsible gaming guidelines are truly followed. So having a transparent way to be able to hand that information over to them in a frictionless way that minimizes the actual work we have to do and reduces our costs and operational overhead, but still meets all their clear requirements and is transparent and is seamless. I mean, that's kind of like the panacea of where we want to get to. So it's like, look guys, we have nothing to hide. It's right there. It's all there for you. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be able to explain anything to you. But at the end of the day, you have the information in front of you. You can review it at any time you want. You know it hasn't been altered or amended in any type of way where we're trying to hide anything. And if something were to go wrong and you see some type of discrepancy, at least you know it's there so we can have a conversation about it. But at the end of the day, it kind of elevates that trust level. So now when we do have to have conversations, we can have the proper conversations we need to have based off of reality and facts, not based off of innuendo or just curiosity, like what's happening there, guys? No, you know what's happening there, so let's talk about it and let's explain why.
Oh, I love that you get that, because blockchain tech is so perfect for regulators in the gambling space, especially because that's what I know, but it's just it's so perfect. How blockchain can help with responsible gambling is a huge focus of Nick Hill's. At CoinGeek Zurich, Nick moderated a panel for the gambling industry and uncovered a need for a universal source of truth. So Nick, from someone who's right here in the thick of it all.
Direct.
Tell me we'll start with your panel, in fact. What were some of the biggest takeaways, some of the nuggets of information that you really think the audience was able to take away from that?
Right, okay, so with regards to the panel that I moderated, which is obviously the gambling space, the biggest takeaways was responsible gambling and how to use blockchain for data storage, storing the data in a much more chronological, accessible way. Also touching on sort of the way that we can use the blockchain for AML and KYC. But more importantly, Sam Brown from Hero Gaming made a really good point in that the adoption within the gambling industry is only going to happen when the gambling companies start to come together as one to sort of use the technology that is available via sort of BSV Blockchain. So that was the biggest takeaway. We need to sort of use the technology in a unified way, not individually, not in our own silos.
Yeah, and data silos is something we've been talking about throughout the whole event, really, in all sorts of industries, not just the gambling industry. That's really interesting. Regulation, too. I keep hearing the R word, right? So tell us just a bit about why regulators and the regulatory side of the gambling industry would truly, truly benefit from BSV tech.
Well, it just makes their lives a lot easier because, so let's look at it from the responsible gaming point of view. So if a player has a problem, so once we can identify what the player's doing, we can identify that the player is, gambling irresponsibly. We can embed markers of harm in their sort of player journey. Now, if that player was to come along and make a complaint to the regulator, one, the operator is protected because the data is stored on a mutable ledger. Two, the player can actually access that data. And three, you give those private keys to the regulator, they can access that data. So you're not then looking for who spoke to this guy, when did they speak to this guy, this player, what information was sent to them, how were we bonusing them. It's all basically centrally stored. So for the regulator's point of view, everything is in one place. Very accessible and easy to retrieve.
I keep hearing also the universal source of truth, the one place.
Universal source of truth, of course, yes.
It is clear that online gambling operators could benefit from a solution that simplifies regulatory requirements. nChain's Director of Business Services revealed nChain's plans for delivering a solution in the coming weeks.
We're working on an iGaming strategy and so in gaming, again, we see the value of being able to use data to kind of address some of the biggest challenges. We talked a lot about responsible gaming and ensuring that we can track data in order for us to be able to prevent problem gaming. And I think that's a phenomenal use case for blockchain. And within gaming as well, there's so many benefits you get from having a payment system built on Bitcoin. Now you can start doing micro and nano payments. You can start building different types of games. But with the data side and with this kind of embedded digital cash side, you can now start monetizing the data. And so there's different ways that we can kind of deliver value to iGaming.
We only just scratched the surface of what the BSV blockchain can do for the gambling industry at CoinGeek Zurich. We are in the early adopter stage, but early majority is just around the corner. Please join us for CoinGeek New York the first week of October and be a part of the BSV blockchain revolution. Thank you so much for watching Hashing It Out. This is Becky Legiro for CoinGeek.com.
Data is double-edged. Wield it well and build your place in tomorrow. But trust it blindly and risk watching your progress crumble. Because much of the data we rely upon isn't reliable at all. At nChain, we believe in data. but we put no faith in it. Instead, we build tools that enable enterprises to trust the data upon which they rely. N-Chain, data without question.